Hi. There's a lot of talk about purpose these days, but I wonder if you've actually been able to discern the distinction between people who are on purpose and people who aren't. And I wanted to point out a few things today to help you uncover what it looks like when someone is on purpose and possibly how to get there yourself. So you may notice the distinction between people who have a purpose may look like they have a direction and a focus, and generally they're more excited and enthusiastic and have a lot of energy in their life. And so maybe they don't have trouble getting out of bed every day, or maybe they enjoy going to work or doing their work if they have their own business. And by contrast, you may notice that there are some people in life who have less energy and may be a little less focused, and they may actually feel a little lost or confused or uncertain about what's next. Also, the people who are on purpose are generally more calm and relaxed because they have this direction and focus, and so they know where they're going. And even when things get challenging, they have a sense of the long term. So they know what the long-term trajectory is and what their next steps are, versus someone who may not have that same level of initiative to keep moving when things get tough because they're not sure how it's going to turn out. They don't have the big picture in mind. So you might have wondered, so why is that? Why are people on purpose generally more excited, enthusiastic about their lives in the world and their work than people who aren't? And some of that is related to what we now know about the science of purpose. And purpose has a positive impact on two primary areas of significance in our lives. One of them is our health and well-being, and the other is our actual success, financial and otherwise. And I talk about this in my book, The Golden Thread, Where to Find Purpose in the Stage of Your Life, but I wanted to give you just a little teaser. As what we know from the science of purpose, and I see this in most of my clients, is that purpose affects our personal income and wealth. It affects the performance of our business and in how engaged our employees are. It affects our capacity to be leaders because we are more directed and focused and have a sense of where we're going. It affects job satisfaction and also our business strategy. On the personal level, it affects our health significantly. Research has shown that purpose affects our lifespan, believe it or not. It affects whether or not we get acute or chronic health conditions. It affects our mental health and well-being and our self-care and our emotional regulation and our memory and cognition. It even affects our sex life, believe it or not. So knowing your purpose and living it positively affects every facet of your life, leading more and more people to want it. And you may be thinking, well, of course, why wouldn't I want those things? But in fact, most of us don't know how to get it. We don't actually know how to find and uncover our purpose significantly enough to have it impact us in that way. Maybe you've had purpose and lost it, or maybe you never had it. And what I wanted to do is just talk about a few things to help you think about why you may not currently have purpose in your life. And one of those is that while there's all this talk about purpose right now in the world, most people think that purpose is a job or a career or a business or a product, and it's actually much deeper than that. It's not those things. So you might work for what's called a purpose-driven company, but that doesn't mean that you're actually going to feel like you're on purpose, because that may not be your purpose. It's kind of like saying if the FDA says ketchup is a vegetable, then we're going to be getting all those vitamins, right? Well, your purpose is actually what drives you and brings that level of energy and synchronicity into your life. Nor is purpose and emotion or feeling. Those are great signifiers of purpose, but they're not necessarily purpose. So if you're one of those people who's really on track and feeling energetic and enthusiastic about your life, you're probably living some facet of your purpose. But if you're not yet feeling that, it may be useful to think about how to find the purpose and uncover it in your life to have a greater sense of satisfaction and meaning. And we can talk about that. A second element to think about is that as we evolve in our lives as we move from one stage to the next. We're usually transitioning from one expression of purpose to another based in the cycles of our lives or stages and the developmental tasks that are required to be accomplished at each stage. So as we go from one stage to the next, while this may look like adolescence to adult, there are deeper, more complex developmental tasks. And not that you need to know those, but what we experience often is that we'll feel on purpose and we'll feel enthusiastic and we like our life, and then all of a sudden it disappears. And sometimes that's because you're in this transition from one stage to the next. I talk about this in the book too. And so there is a new expression of purpose that wants to come from you or through you. And we can help you find that, find your next expression. And it's not necessarily just going to be in a new job or a new home or a new location or a new car, which is often why people do those things, is thinking I'm going to find meaning again. And it's generally because you're in a transition stage. And the third thing is that there may be barriers that get in the way of your greatest expression. So you might be hampered by old patterns or limiting beliefs or childhood wounding or even karma or, ancestral lineage issues or distractions that get in your way of your greatest expression. And we can resolve those as well to help you feel more enthusiastic and have more meaning and satisfaction and ultimately greater health and well-being and greater financial prosperity. So if you're interested in learning more about any of these things related to purpose, my name is Holly Woods, Holly Woods Coaching and Consulting, and I would love to spend some time with you hearing about your story and helping you think about how you could get more of that energy and vitality in your own life. Holly Woods at Holly Woods Coaching and Consulting, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.